Hey dear fashionista, fashion designer, style guru, you're welcome to my channel. My name is Estiga. In this video, I'll be taking you through the process of drafting this Sunray pants with no side seam. The seam is only at the under crouch. Please stay true to the end and please make sure to like, subscribe. Without wasting much time, let's get drafting. So I start by marking 3 inches at the edge of my pattern paper. I'm marking 3 inches all the way down. The purpose of this 3-inch is because there's not going to be a side seam, so I'm going to be drafting the front side and the back side, the front crouch and the back crouch together. And as you know, for a pant, the back crouch is always longer than the front crouch. So I've gone to mark out my 3 inches all the way down, and I'm just making out the straight line to demarcate that is the back crouch area. So I'm going to have a waistband for the pants. So I left my tape 1 inches outside, and then I started taking my measurements. So I took my hip measurements, my crouch measurements, and my knee measurements. I got my hip measurement by dividing my hip by 4 and marking it down horizontally, and my crouch measurement, I got it by adding 4 extra inches to my hip measurement and marking it down. My hip is 40, adding 4 extra inches to it after dividing it by 4 is 14. So I marked it right there because the pants is a really free one. So I just went ahead to rule out my horizontal line at the point I had marked. So the next thing I want to do is to determine my crouch extension. The same 14 inches I marked as my crouch length, I mark it as my crouch width as well. Like I marked it horizontally, and then I ruled a straight line from that point to the waist side. I am using that much because the pant needs to be free. It is a free pant, it doesn't have to be tight. And that measurement I marked horizontally also includes the allowance, so I don't need to add allowance anymore. So I went ahead to mark it straight down to the hemline. So the next thing I want to do is to determine my crouch extension. So I divided my hips by 8. I divided my hips by 4. What I got, I divided it by 4 again. That is to get my crouch extension. So I just marked that point and just marked a straight line to the waistline. Straight to the waistline. So I'm going to go ahead and make a curve, my crouch curve. So the part I'm making my crouch curve is the part for the crotch. That area is the part for the crotch, for the front and the back. I am going to go ahead now to extend the back crotch measurement by 2.5, and then I'm going to mark it. So what I did initially, I just used my ruler to connect it into the leg of the hem of the front one, but I later changed my mind because I wanted to be free, because I just really wanted to be free. So I later cancelled that line I marked there that joins it to the front one, and I marked 2 inches all the way down because I just marked 2 inches. So you might want to mark it to enter into the front pants. You might want to mark it 2 inches, but to be sincere, when you mark these 2 inches, one side becomes bigger than the other side, so you really don't have to do this, but I just wanted to do it. That was why I did it, but at the end I felt like it wasn't necessary. I think at a point I had to trim it off. So you can just, after marking the crotch extension for the back, you can just join it to the hemline of the front. The side towards me is for the front and the back crouch, while the other side is going to be on fold. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out. I'm measuring what I have on the waist and it's fine, but on the hips I realize it's not up to my hip measurements and I have to add allowance while cutting. I pinned down my pattern paper while cutting. As you can see, the side facing me is on fold. This is the back I am cutting out first. I also left some space while cutting to make up for the incomplete measurements. Done cutting, I added space at the sides and I added to the full length as well. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut off that part. Can you see where I'm cutting? Please watch where I'm cutting. I'm cutting out the back extension because now I need to use this pattern to cut out the front. And just so you know, this pants, if you want to cut for probably any, it doesn't have to be a Sunray fabric. You can use it to cut for every other fabric. So I also left space on this one as well. And as you can see the way this thing goes, the lines are going horizontally. So when you're cutting yours, don't make the mistake of cutting it in an incorrect pattern. So done cutting out the pants, I'm going to set it aside, removing the pin. So that's all for the drafting of the pants. So I move on to the top. So this top is going to be cut in a bias form, you know, like that's folding it in a triangular form because it's kind of flare. So I'm folding it, trying to place it properly. So the next thing I want to do is to pin it down because the fabric shifts a lot. So I'm going ahead to pin it down. I'm pinning it down to make sure that it stays in place. So for this fabric, I'm going to be marking with a marker on the fabric. I'm just going to be careful so that it will show very well. I'm using a marker because using a chalk, I realized it wasn't showing properly, so I had to go using a marker. So starting, I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2. My shoulder is 16 divided by 2 is 8. So I marked the point where 8 is, then I took the tape and started marking it down vertically from the point. You know, if you are cutting a flare is not straight, so you can't just mark it straight. You have to determine how it's going to be. If you just mark a straight line that way, it's going to have a V shape, which is not nice. So after indicating my point at the 8, I used my tape vertically to measure it. So the next thing I'm going to measure now is my chest line. So my chest line is my bust point minus 2. So my bust point is 10 inches minus 2 is 8. So I put it there. So on that chest line, I'm going to mark out my bust measurement. The bust I'm working with is 36. 36 divided by 4 is 9. So I marked it there, no allowance, nothing. So the next thing I'm going to do now, this is a halter neck, by the way. I did not mention it. This is a halter neck. It alternate. I don't know what to call it. Is it like a top? So it's a halter neck top, like, you know, just like a strap top. So I'm marking it down. That's the neckline. I went in. The width of the neckline is 2.5, and the depth is 3.5. Because it needs to be kind of open. The way the person wanted it, the person wants it to be opened. And you know, when you're making an halter neck that you want it to be open, the neck should not be too wide. So I went ahead to mark it out. So at the point where I marked my bust point, I'm going to make a straight line. I'm going to draw a straight line to the bust point from the neckline. So that is my armhole. So you can see what I'm doing right there. The marker is clear. I'm so grateful to God for that. So now from that point where my chest line is, I'm going to add an extra 2.5 inch. This 2.5 inch is for the back. It's for the back. There's not going to be any joining. You're not cutting the back separately, so that the back extends, so that the front extends to the back. I'm adding that 2.5 inches, and then I'm just going to draw out the full length of my fabric. So the full length of my fabric is 16. So from the point where I marked from my shoulder measurement, I had checked where 16 was and I had marked it. So the next thing I had to do was to bring it back to the point, to that tip there, right there. I put my tape there and marked it to show me what I have. It's best putting your tape at the tip when drafting a flare, because it's easier for you to determine how to go about it. If you decide to put it at the neckline and mark it, it's not going to be so easy, because you see that neckline is not a point. You have to move it round. So I really hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I went ahead to mark out my measurement. Then from that edge there, I just drew a line into the down part. So that's just all for the drafting of the strapless top, or whatever you call it. So that's just it. I'm just cross-checking my measurements to make sure that everything is the way it should be. Then at the middle point, I came up by 1 inch to curve it into the hem of the sides, because the top part is supposed to go up a bit. So I'm just curving it into the hem of the sides, and I'm going to go ahead to cut it out. I'm going to cut on the black lines, because this is somebody's outfit, and it will be an eyesore for them to be seeing black lines on their clothes. You go explain, Taya. Done cutting it out, and this is what it is like. I did not make a tutorial of the sewing of this top because it was so stressful as I'm working with a manual machine. So that's that. Let's get into the pants making. So for the pants, we are going to join 2 sides of it together. That's 2 sides of one. We'll join the 2 sides together, and then the other side we're going to join it together. We'll join the 2 sides together all the way to the down. Do well to arrange your fabric properly so that it's not skewed or folded. So you get what I'm saying. You're joining 2 pants you're joining the front together and the back together separately on its own. So I'm done joining mine. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the measurements I have there, and I'm satisfied with what I have because it's my measurement. So I'm going to turn the pants to the front. I'm going to turn the 2 sides to the front, the 2 pants to the front, and then I'm going to put the middle part together, that joining part together, and I'm going to pin it, and I'm going to sew the sides. So I'm going ahead to sew the sides. I'm sewing this part all the way to the top. While sewing the other part, I'm going to leave 2 inches to the top. I'm not going to sew it all the way to the top, because from that place we're going to pass our band. After sewing to one end, I'm going to take out the pin and sew from that point to the other side. Remember, I said we're going to leave 2 inches upwards for the band to pass through, because we're going to be fixing our waistband there. Please, if you've gotten to this point of this video, do well to like. Thank you very much. Do well to drop your comments, and also consider subscribing. Thank you very much. So done with that, this is what it looks like. The space I left, this is what it looks like. So I'm just going to go ahead to measure what I have there at my hip line, and what I had was what I wanted. And on the waistline, so I'm going to go ahead to take the measurements of the waistline. What I had there folded, I measured it folded in two, so what was there is 34. So to cut out my band, I'm going to cut out exactly what is on the waistline. So I went ahead to cut out my band, 64 inches long, and the width is 5 inches. So I placed it on the pants, right sides facing each other, and I'm going to sew one side and I'm going to sew the other side on it, just like I'm doing. So while sewing, you want to make sure that it aligns. You want to make sure it aligns with the pants while sewing. And because I'm using a band of 1.5 inch, my waistband I cut out is wider. So I just go ahead to cut out that extra that I have there. And the other side of the band, I'm going to fold it on it, like you see me doing like this. I fold it on it. So that's to make the fold a channel. That's to make the channel that the band is going to pass through. So done with that. As you can see, this is my band. This is slightly bended, like it has slight folds. It doesn't really matter because I'll be fixing a band through it. So as you can see, my band is 1.5 inches and the channel I created is 2.5 because you need space so that the band will sit properly. The band needs to sit properly in it, so the channel you're passing the band through should be at least 0.5 inches wider than it. After passing my elastic through, I went ahead to secure it so that it doesn't come off, and then I'll go ahead and secure the other side too. But first of all, I want to make sure the folds align, like the ruch from the band, the result of the band ruch aligns. So you see how it's looking so pretty. So I just mark it to determine my waist measurements. The waist measurements I'm working with is 34. It's 33, but I made this band 27. I made the band 27. That's the weight, because you know it's elastic and it has to be tight. It has to grip the waist. So I go ahead. The next thing I'm going to do is to sew on the elastic. I'm just making sure to spread the folds very well so that it aligns. One side is no more does not have more fold than the other side. So I'm going to go ahead now and sew at the middle, stretching it. I'm going to sew at the middle, stretching it. You have to stretch it while doing this. It's kind of tricky, and you know, it just gives you a weird feeling while doing this, but it gave me a weird feeling. But then you have to stretch it so well. You can do this twice, you can do it once. I went ahead to do it twice. So you have to stretch it very, very, very well. So you can see how pretty it's looking. So the next thing I'm going to do is to join the front and the back together. So I just joined it. That's closing up that 2 inches opening that I had left to fix the band. So that's all for the making of this Sunray pants. Thank you very much for staying through to the end. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, and to leave your comments. For the end of the pants, I went ahead to fold it with 1 inch. That's folding it double. First of all, folding it and folding it again. Bye. See you in another video.